My name is Chris, and in this quick tip, we're gonna, you know what? I can be more epic than this. My name is Chris, and I'm a filmmaker, and I'm here to help you tell stories. And today, we're gonna talk about a quick way to letterbox your content in Adobe Premiere Pro without using any plugins. Sometimes you want to letterbox your content or add the black bars to the top and bottom to make it a little more cinematic or to add a certain meaning or look. Letterboxing makes the picture more widescreen than the video itself. And depending on your phone or tablet, widescreen content may always be letterboxed. Technically, there's also pillar boxing, which is when the image is narrower than the frame. Normally, you're gonna see this for older video. Now, if you're letterboxing for the whole video, you'll just want to output at that specific size. Most places your video is going to go will understand different aspect ratios. That way, when your viewer watches it, it will expand to fill the whole screen of whatever device they use. That is, if they actually watch it full screen at all. But if you need to render the black bars with your video, maybe it's because you're mixing and matching aspect ratios, or you want to animate the letterboxing in some way, then there's a quick and easy way to do it in Premiere Pro without using plugins or any external images. In Premiere, create a new black video and place it on the topmost video track. Now in this case, I'm not putting it on the topmost track because of how I'm doing this specific episode, but normally that's where you're going to want to put it. Add the crop effect and set the top and bottom percentages to the appropriate amount for what you're trying to accomplish. Now you'll notice this is the exact opposite of what you actually want, but give me a moment. So here's some common ratios that you may want. You're only allowed 1 decimal point of precision, so this isn't going to be pixel perfect. But the cool thing is, because it's a percentage, it doesn't matter what the footage is, SD, HD, 4K, 8K, whatever, these aspect ratios will work because you're using it as a percentage, not as a fixed amount. But again, only if it's 16:9 footage. Now, if your source footage is not 16:9, or you want a different aspect ratio than what I've listed here, you're gonna need to do some math. To finish this off and get the black bars in the correct spot, we then need to add the alpha adjust effect. And then what we want to do is just invert the alpha. And it's that simple. Instant letterboxing or pillar boxing or some sort of boxing. Now, if you want to animate in and out of this letterboxing, then all you need to do is set up your percentages to what you want it to look like, and then set keyframes. In this case, I'm animating in from no letterboxing to letterboxing. So I set my keyframes to where I want it to end, and then go back to the beginning and set it to 0. And just like that, they animate in over time. If you're gonna do this often, then it makes sense to save a preset. Keep in mind that when you make a preset, you're gonna save keyframes. All we need to do is select both of our effects and save preset, and we're gonna call it Epic Widescreen. Now, keep in mind that because I've added some keyframes to animate into this widescreen effect, it's actually going to keep those keyframes in it. So if I didn't want that, I would need to make sure I have one, maybe called animate in, animate out, whatever. I want to anchor to endpoint because that will, no matter how long the footage is that I put this on, that will keep these the same distance apart. So now I can, in the future, add some black video, take my preset and apply it, and just like that. So now that I have this preset, I can apply it to whatever I want, whatever footage I want, or even to an adjustment layer. The only thing is, I would need to create a new preset and use the ignore alpha, not invert alpha. Now the other thing I could do is apply this directly to my footage. But again, I need to use ignore alpha. With the ignore alpha, I'm going to get this black. Now you might think that applying this directly to footage, I don't need the alpha adjust. Well, that's partly true, but then I'm left with transparent video. So it most of the time will render as black, but depending on the output format, you might not get exactly what you're looking for. If I didn't have the transparency grid enabled, I might not actually know the difference. By enabling this transparency grid, I can actually see when I've just made transparent video or actually added black video to the top and bottom of my footage. One final note, if you're trying to make your edit go faster and you need to temporarily disable effects, if you use the global effects mute, that takes these effects and disables them, which means you're left with black video. So you're going to need to disable the track in order to actually play through your edit. That is potentially dangerous because if you don't re-enable it, when you export, you're not going to get exactly what you want. Now, if you've applied this directly to your footage and you go to mute the effects, then you'll be able to play through just like normal. So one reason why you want to do this on a black video layer is so you don't lose any flexibility later on. For example, when I've applied it directly to the footage, if I go to reposition things, I lose the ability to keep my letterboxing exactly how I want it. Whereas if I had applied it to a black video layer over my footage, then I can reposition my footage exactly where I want within this letterbox and not have to worry about getting these lined back up or anything.
So, a quick way to make your footage look more epic in Adobe Premiere Pro, or at least more widescreen. The epic happens in the space in between the letterboxing. Thanks for watching, and if you're interested, I've got a playlist of filmmaking tips to help you as you tell stories right here.